Hello guys, this is me. I'm just here to do a channel update kind of thing. I've been gone for a while. I'm not dead, but this should have given you guys plenty of time to watch the top 10 movies to be my friend and the top 50 greatest films of all time, the only list that you ever need to see because it is in fact the objective truth. You haven't watched them? You haven't watched any of the movies? What have you been doing? Why am I wasting my time here talking to you if you're not going to listen to me? I guess I can forgive you. Maybe. So hello and welcome again to the channel. Cineshadow Moonlight. A lot of people forget what that is. They don't know how to type it into YouTube. They don't know even how to use the internet at times. I don't really know what's wrong with them. But it's kind of just like a free form just to let you know what I've been doing. Why haven't I been making videos? You know, have I been wasting my time? A little bit. Basically, I'm pretty lazy. I get distracted at times. I sit around my house all day. Sometimes I do yard work, different things like that. But I'll take in a lot of energy drinks and stuff, and I'll just sit here. And basically, I'm like a young child with all this energy, but I don't know what to do with it. So I run around in circles and drool until I hit my face onto a coffee table, bleed, cry, and then take a nap. So I just need to figure out how to focus my energy and just get my head out of my butt, if just to say the least. But I guess the reason why I started this channel is because I've spent all this time watching movies and studying them and just figuring out what I like. And I figured, what else am I going to do? You know, am I going to keep bothering my wife by explaining to her old silent films or certain actors, or telling her exciting news that she has, no idea about? So I decided, yeah, let me make a channel to talk about it. So I started about 2.5 years ago on like a 5-year plan where on average I need to watch one new movie a day. So at the end of the year, I should have watched, 365 new movies that year. Not necessarily that I'll watch a new movie every single day, but, that's just the average. So, I'll take I have movie Mondays every week after my work weekend, and I'll kind of decompress after throwing boxes for 3 days in a row. And I'll watch 5, 6, 7 movies, in one sitting. Not in one sitting, but, in one day. And other days I'll do work around the house and, I won't watch a movie. But not to bore you with that kind of stuff. But over the past 2.5 years, I've learned a heck of a lot. So basically that's why I started this channel, so I can bore you guys with those facts. So moving on, I guess my future plans for the channel. I'm not done with the channel or anything. People keep asking me, when are you going to post a new video? It takes a lot of work sometimes to make a video, sitting down, doing all the writing, planning it out, filming it, editing it. That's kind of why this is kind of like a free-form, no edits kind of crap. So I may move forward doing some more stuff like this, but just having one specific topic that I can kind of rant about. Sometimes I'm famous for my rants, and I think if I could capture what I do at work on film here when I'm sitting in a room by myself, I think people may enjoy that. So look forward to some rant videos, different things like that. And I'm going to continue to do the movie reviews like I did with Jaws. I plan on doing The Shining, different movies like that, Scarface maybe, Raging Bull. It's some of my favorite movies that were in my lists, my friends' list, and my top 50 lists that I really care about, and just wanted to get down, put some funny parodies in there, and just try to, encapsulate how much I love those movies onto film. So if you haven't seen them, definitely check out the list that I've made previously, and just to get a general overview on how I feel about films. But moving forward from that, my favorite decade of film is the 50s. And I think the 50s really is the greatest decade in cinema history, because I think that's where film moved forward the most, kind of after the initial, basic uses of camera and shooting and editing and stuff like that. The technology of film really jumped ahead at this time. Sorry, I lied. One edit will be in the video, because I started looking down and with nothing to say, and it got awkward. So back to the 50s. So it'll be a large, giant overview of the 50s in film. I'll have different subjects to talk about, like the Paramount Decree from 1948, which actually limited a lot of the big movie studios from getting into TV. They had to divest their interests in... Basically, they owned the theaters. They owned theaters that distributed, and they distributed their own films to the own theaters that they had, and the government felt that they had a monopoly on the film industry, because the government just wants to get their hands in everything, and they're a bunch of big jerks. That's for another video. So they had to try to figure out where all their money was going to go to, and they started making less films, different things like that. But a lot of innovations came in at that time, like Cinerama, the use of widescreen film, the introduction of Panavision 70 cameras, CinemaScope, the introduction of Eastman Kodak coming up with cheaper color film stock to use, to kind of take down, Technicolor. Making a color film was very expensive at that time because of the use of the bulky Technicolor film cameras and the use of different, 3-strip Technicolor film stock, different things like that. So I'll make different videos explaining stuff like that, with pictures and video and nice commentary that I write down. So it should be very exciting, hopefully. So maybe I'll be able to pique your guys' interests in movies that were made before the 80s. You guys seem to not like that stuff, but I'm here to change the game, baby. I'm here to do big things, maybe. But yeah, we can talk about Hitchcock. That was his most successful decade, with movies like Rear Window, North by Northwest, Vertigo, Dial M for Murder, cool things like that. We were introduced to Marlon Brando at that time. James Dean sadly passed away after 3 films. Talk about the kind of sci-fi boom that happened with Universal. They were kind of one of the smaller 3 studios, and with the Paramount Decree, they were able to invest in different things and start making all those cool, freaky sci-fi movies that people like what we got, This Island Earth, and there's a really cool classic sci-fi collection up there with like The Deadly Mantis and a bunch of wacky films like that, and Creature from the Black Lagoon stuff. And probably talk about one of my favorite 50s directors, Douglas Sirk, the master of melodrama. Just these overwrought, kind kind of makes you sick with how much emotion and tenderness is in those films. But yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff. We'll talk about the rise of Disney. And that'll probably be another rant. You know, people say, oh, Disney's got a monopoly on the movies. Well, that's kind of what happened in 48. The government said that other movie companies had a monopoly, so they introduced all these government regulations on those movies. And that, along with the insight and outlook on the future that Walt Disney had, basically ended up, now Disney is kind of the monopoly now. So government intervention did not work at that point. But enough of that. So yeah, I'll probably film some kind of teaser trailers on the different subjects of that, and hopefully get people hyped up about that subject. The other big thing I plan on doing with the channel is having a thing that I'll do hopefully every November, and hopefully I'll do it this year. It's going to take a lot of work, but doing a thing that I like to call Noir-vember. My plan is that every day in November a new video will be released talking about a different film noir. So basically, film noir is a term that the French, fancy pantses came up with. There's certain criteria that should fall under film noir, but noir in French is black. So basically, black film. It's kind of these kind of melodramatic crime stories that happen. There's a lot of hard-hitting talk. There's always a dastardly dame that double crosses the main guy. He ends up double crossing people. There's double crosses, crisscrosses, freak outs. There's a lot of stuff, But they're always cool. Everyone's dressed real cool, tilted wide brim hats and crap like that, So yeah. So I'll have to start on that soon. I'll have to film all these videos well in advance of November so that they're done by November, so then I can just release them on every consecutive day. That may not work, so maybe it'll be every other day, who knows? I'm going to have to stop being so lazy. I had some other ideas where I might film my own Oscars. So basically I'll take a year and I'll say, well, this is the Oscars. These are the movies that came out that year. This is what should have won for this, and such and such. Best Picture and all that stuff. So I might start, with some hard-hitting years like 94, where the Best Picture winner of that year was Forrest Gump. Pretty good movie, but definitely not the best. And I think if anyone's favorite movie is Forrest Gump, really that's not the kind of person that you can really trust. I mean, of course, Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption, both way better films than Forrest Gump. Or basically it's just a movie where Forrest Gump is involved in every single thing that ever happened in history at the time he was alive. Then he finally gets some nookie, and he's left with a dead, a widow, a kid, and he probably has AIDS, so he'll probably die soon, too. That's what I took from Forrest Gump. But, yeah, those are plans. I might do like a collection video. Obviously, I have plenty of movies here on the shelf that you can see. These giant box sets. I could talk about the Eureka Masters of Cinema collection, which I have all of because I'm insane and no one's ever heard of the Eureka Masters of Cinema collection. I could show you my Funko Pops, show you around the theater room. Few have been here, but everyone who has been has left with an overwhelming feeling of joy and happiness, and they always want to come back, but very few return. I remember the first night where we had kind of a movie night. We had our first guest, our good friend Steven. He's been back a few times, and it's always a great time having him over. John's been over here. My buddy Josh. A few other people have sat in the room without actually watching movies. The majority of my family's been over here. We watched The Dark Knight one time, so comment below. You want to come down, watch a movie, pick one out. We'll make a time for you, bud. And it'll be fun. We got surround sound, we got subwoofers, we got French avant-garde films. We really got it all. We got beer in the fridge, we got coffee, we got water, we got juice. We have toilets and stuff, so yeah, come on down, watch your favorite movie on the big screen. It'll be fun. But that's about all I have. Just here to let you know I'm not dead, that I do plan on doing some more things in the future if I can get off of my lazy rear end. So I'll put this video up. Comment below on what kind of things maybe you'd like to see in the movies. Comment below. Tell me if this was boring or not. It kind of is. Because I don't really know what else to say. So we'll end it there. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let other people know about it. I think the other videos I've made are pretty good. But hopefully I can keep doing it and stay motivated. And I love all of you people. You are all my favorite. Bye.